Good morning. Welcome to Lovebabz, Lovetalk. I'm Babz Rawls. It's around 9 o'clock. So I'm not playing music today. I'm having a conversation. I'm having a conversation with the two young gentlemen who started all this controversy about a damn skate park in Scantlebury Park and got the whole community up in arms with them. So I figured I'd have a conversation with them because I think this is important and I think they need to share their side of the story in ways that so the community can hear it and understand it, and why a skateboard park would be pretty cool in Scantlebury Park. So with me today is the young Mr. Stephen Roberts and the young Mr. Jay Joseph, and y'all may know Jay Joseph because we all knew him when he was a little bitty baby. This is Joe Ugly's son, who just graduated from Yale. Yay!
Thank you very much.
That time went by too fast, boy.
Yeah, it did.
I just felt like yesterday you were going.
I know.
And then the next thing you know, you're graduating.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it.
I mean, when you're in the middle of it, it was a slog, but then I look back and I was like, wow, that was really just yesterday.
It was.
That I landed on the doorstep. So I don't know. I'm not crying because it's over. I'm smiling because it happened.
Listen, those of us who have went to undergrad are grateful to get out of undergrad in one piece. And by the senior year, you're like, oh my God, if I could just get out of here. I know, I remember. That's real.
I like not to complain publicly, but
no.
Yes. Yeah, that's about.
But that's every
right.
college student. You know, your first year, you're excited. It's wonderful. Sophomore year, you're like, okay, this is a little challenging. Junior year, like, okay. By senior year, it's time.
I'm over
right,
it.
Steve?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm over this
over
now.
it.
I'm ready to go get in my life. So, all right, so tell me about this. Tell me about this skateboard life. Because I see young Mr. Joseph. I've seen him forever riding around on skateboards. I believe I've seen you rolling over to Edgewood Park, which has a perfectly good skateboard park.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
True.
Recently renovated, as a matter of fact, which is a lovely addition that we're very thankful for. However, one of the big things is that not everybody feels comfortable sending their kid across town to go skate and go learn how to skateboard, and for totally understandable, for a number of reasons. And it's super important for there to be skate parks throughout the community to foster the ability for young kids all over the city to be able to skate and learn how to skate comfortably in their neighborhood and in their community. And we really want to emphasize the opportunities that skateboarding can allow people. It's now $1 billion industry, and
Is it?
It is as a matter of fact.
Big business.
Because people want to
so
sponsor kids, or not even kids. These are grown people.
I mean, from kids to grown folks, because really there's no age minimum in skateboarding. If you're good enough to go, you can just go, which is an amazing and wonderful thing. Right now, the skater of the year is the 19-year-old black kid from the Bronx named Tyshawn Jones. And the reason he was able to be skater of the year, have an Adidas sponsorship, a professional skateboard sponsorship, compete in contests, own a restaurant, own his own hardware company that sells, bolts for putting the skateboards together, is because he had the infrastructure in New York City, which has over 7 parks around the city.
Really?
To grow up skateboarding.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've really invested in a big way, and some other cities, major cities, have been investing in a really big way, and we're just hoping that we can help bring that infrastructure here to New Haven. I mean, skateboarding is about to be an Olympic sport, right?
Is it?
Yeah, next
in
year,
2020.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Are you excited by that, Steve?
I'm excited for the opportunity, but I also think there's we have to be very careful about how we approach bringing skateboarding back into the mainstream, because I think there's kind of a similarity between African American culture and skateboarding culture, how it's been pushed to the margin for a long time, and now it's starting to gain more mainstream acceptance. And
Just tilt your mic up, just tilt it up. There you go.
There we go. And I think that the people who have kind of vanguarded the culture should be the ones directing how it goes, because I've seen a bunch of like, for example, there's a brand selling skateboards out of IKEA. You know what I mean?
Is there?
Yeah. It used to. I forgot the name of the brand. It was about like a year or two ago. A friend showed it to me. But
so we don't like that, or we like that?
I mean,
because I would imagine if you're selling a skateboard out of IKEA, it's affordable.
Yeah, but it's just like, what has IKEA done for skateboarding?
Yeah,
Oh.
and so it's super important when we're considering infrastructure that we're careful about where boards are sold and where we're purchasing boards from, in part because one of the main ways that skateboarders get notoriety and they get sponsors and they're able to really make it as professional skateboarders is there's a shop in a local skate shop which can, because they do business with all of the companies that sponsor, like they have the connections and the networks with companies to send out footage directly to those companies, and it's not just some random kid hitting up a company trying to like send them a video. So these shops act as representatives for the local skateboarding community.
And so we like that concept.
And so we like that concept.
Okay.
Like imagine if I don't know, like Michelin started releasing, natural hair care products for black women. You know what I mean? But it's like this is cool, but like
listen, stranger things have
you know what I'm
happened.
saying? Yeah, but it's like, all right, like, this is cool, but like this
you're
not really
known
our
for
lane.
this. Yes.
Like if y'all want to get on board, here's how you can, but like y'all not just gonna pop up and think y'all can say, hey, this is what we have. This is cool, right? And it's like not really.
Yeah.
And I think to speak why I got so hard behind this project, I started skateboarding when I was.
You teach skateboarding.
I teach skateboarding.
I saw you at Stetson Library.
Yes.
In the parking lot teaching kids.
In the parking lot.
And you were like, "Oh, Miss Babz, get on." I was like,
"Hey,
my skateboard days are long behind me."
I say try it once.
I did. I used to skateboard, but they're behind me now.
Okay. So I started skateboarding when I was about 13, and I just really got into it. And then about 2 or 3 years later, when I was 15, 16, Channel 1 opened up, which was the first skate shop in New Haven that I'm aware of. If there was a skate shop before Channel 1, I'd go.
Now, is it still here?
So Channel 1, he moved it to Forbes Ave now.
Okay.
But when it was on State Street, I kind of wandered in there one day, and I was like, oh, this place is cool. Like, they had skateboards, it was music, it was graffiti, it was vinyl toys, like graphic design, all types of stuff like that. And just, I started hanging around more and more. Lou Cox, who's the owner, black man, grew up in the Ville.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm getting a whole history.
I know, yeah. See, this is deeper than people realize. And he just started, like, he became a mentor to me, and I just kind of sat back and watched, did like grunt work, folded t-shirts, pressed t-shirts, cut stickers, that type, like, kid stuff. But like just having the opportunity to interact with DJs, artists, movers and shakers, creative people, kind of influenced the way I think and influenced me going forward. This guy DJ Locast had a radio show I would always listen to. I was actually able to meet the guy, Say Adams, who was responsible for how a lot of hip hop looks. He did the graphic design for DMX's Blood of My Blood, Flesh of My Flesh cover, which is one of the, what I'm saying, like, not one of the coolest album covers, not only in hip hop but in music period.
Yes.
And just I kind of want to turn around and give these experiences to the kids in my neighborhood, because some kids may not be down for team sports, or they may be in the arts, but they may, like, kind of looking for something a little more physical. and just giving those kids, the choice is something I'm interested in. And why I partnered with Jay for the park is because I have to teach the kids in the parking lot at Stetson, and sometimes I gotta, get crazy on people who drive through because
it's not an ideal situation. I mean, it's just not a skateboard park.
Exactly. I mean, street skating is kind of where the main lifeline to skateboarding right now. But there are the people who work at the library have to move their cars. I have to set the cone up. I have to.
That's too much.
You know what I'm saying? So having a park.
So you'd like to walk a couple of blocks.
Exactly.
Just not even like a block and a half.
Yeah.
And little kids can go, and they don't have to you don't have to haul them to Edgewood.
Exactly. And what was I gonna say? I think that it'll kind of help them with their confidence because having obstacles that are specifically built to skateboarding, even if you can't, ollie, which is the basic trick in street skateboarding, you can still, have a little fun. And there's so when I started skateboarding, I skated the ramps because I didn't know how to ollie, and that kept me into it, kept me going, gave me confidence, and also kind of helped me get a feel for how to ride, how to like my style, that sort of thing.
So you all so you raise a little private money.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I mean, you
that we
come
need to
this
clarify.
with a little money.
Yeah, so the city is investing some resources into this, just to help like the final execution, but we're coming with $50,000 in grant money that we were able to secure. So we came to the city independently. So for any people who might be curious as to why the city is backing, or Parks and Recreation is coming with the idea of a skate park to these community meetings, it's because we came to the Department of Parks and Recreation and said, hey, we secured some funding from the Elm City Innovation Collaborative with matching funds from the Yale Schwartzman Center. And we want to build a skate park that will be a city-owned park thereafter for the community. And, for people here in New Haven, could we make this happen?
So now what is the criticism? What's the blowback?
So I think a big part of it is just because we came with private money, and it was through a grant process, we had to have a lot of planning done like beforehand. So for many months since September, we've been working on this project and kind of have it down, like this is where the money's coming from, these are the dates we have to hit if we want to get it installed by the end of the summer, which potentially we can, and here's what it would be, here's what it would look like. We've worked with some local skateboarders to get a design together, and then we worked with some School of Architecture students, and now we're shifting into working with some professional architects to get the full schematics out. But so we had a pretty robust proposal, and I think because it was so robust, it didn't really come off as a proposal.
What did it come off at? What did you think it came off as?
I think a lot of people took it as, oh yeah, so we're gonna build this park over the skate park over in Scantlebury, and now we're just letting y'all know about it. So that's why we've called you here today. But I want to emphasize that, this is still a proposal, and we need the community support as much as we need to have ourselves organized.
So get this. So how do you? So I would suggest, I don't know if you've done this, but you have to go talk to the peoples.
Yeah.
And I'm sure y'all been doing that.
Yeah,
been doing that.
I was actually we actually managed the first 2 days after the meeting. I'm sorry, the weekend. There was a Arts and Ideas Festival in Scantlebury Park.
Yes.
And the Freddie Fixer was the day after that. And I think between those 2 days, I was able to get around 500 signatures. And so a lot of people have been really like behind the park. People who who have seen me, who know me from just
working with their kids.
exactly. And also having Miss Diane Brown on board. So she supported me since day one. That's actually how I got the program started. I just wandered into Stetson one day, and I had my board with me, and she was like, "Oh, we got some boards in the closet. Like, I wish somebody would teach your kids." I was like, "I'll do it."
That sounds just like her.
Yeah. Miss Diane has been a huge help.
Yeah, she's she is about community. Like she
Yeah.
loves that community, and that community loves her.
Very much so.
So yeah, so they will listen to her, you know, as she goes about and talks about the need and necessity for this. So
Very much so.
okay, so so you have to overcome these obstacles. You have to talk to the people and get buy-in.
Yeah, can I interject?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, just to the point of talking with the people. Since that meeting, we've been on the ground, just in the community, collecting more signatures and talking with people about what we're trying to do, and handing out flyers for the next community meeting.
And when is that?
The discussion is not over.
Shameless.
No, that's what you have to do because people will listen and somebody might like.
Exactly.
I want to make sure I make it.
And so, June 13th at
that's Thursday.
That is
isn't it?
Thursday. This Thursday.
Okay.
At the Rose Center, 101 Ashman Street, in the Yale Police Station across from New Haven Reeds, at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday.
Okay.
We're having a community meeting to discuss this park
So
proposal.
how are you going to start this discussion?
So we're going to have a few different perspectives on board. We're going to briefly go over the project in its totality again and talk about, I think, a little bit more clearly the proposal, the timeline of the proposal, how we got started, how all the funds came together, why we have this plan where it looks finished, which it just about is. Like, if the community supports, then we can get right on it. Which is amazing. But then also listen to some folks who want the park, who really benefit from that.
Be nice to have some kids there.
I was just about to say, hopefully we're gonna have
the
some
kids that you teach are like, listen.
I'm actually been reaching out to their parents and trying to
tell them, like, look, we're too little to go all the way to Edgewood Park.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a far. I mean, I love that there's a park there, but little kids can't go over there by themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't want them to.
Also, Edgewood is kind of out the way. You kind of, if you don't know where it is, you will literally drive right past it. Scantlebury's right on the bike trail, and the bike trail is kind of pretty popular. Good. So it's
right, so
why wouldn't you want to feature?
I understand the neighbors are concerned about the parking because Yale encroaches, so there's that. I don't know if that's a skateboard issue or that's just an issue for that community. I don't think that's a skateboard issue. I just think that's a community issue that Yale encroaches on the parking.
So what me and Jay have gotten a sense of is people have been parking on the grass when there's events near the I don't know if you've been by Scantlebury recently, but there are some Jersey barriers. I think it's what street is that?
That bleeds into
Webster and the one right before the light, before you turn on the Winchester. There's some barriers there and people will park there, but I feel like that wouldn't be a big concern for skateboarders because I feel like most people who would be coming to the park would be coming on their skateboards, and they wouldn't mind parking a little farther. And also, Yale kind of has free parking after 4, and certain lots around Scantlebury, a decent distance away from Scantlebury.
Okay.
So 4 o'clock is usually when like the park gets busy because everyone gets off work. Kids are out of school, so
So for kids, I generally think it's mostly going to be foot traffic and skateboard traffic that tends to be what it is over at Edgewood, and for maybe some of the older folk who are driving to the park after work, again, like Scoop said, they're coming with their boards, so they'll be willing to skate a couple blocks in their parking lots because they'd be showing up after work, so where there would be free parking for them just already in the area.
So this city only has one skateboard park. One?
Correct.
Okay. And so are there other parks around Greater New Haven that you know of, that you visited?
So there's a park in West Haven.
Is that by the beach?
Yes.
Okay. I go by that every morning.
There's a park in West Haven. There's a park in Milford.
It looks a little dreary though.
It's a bit dreary.
It needs some love. It looks like it needs a little
TLC.
something.
Not to,
I'm not hating on West Haven.
Not to insult our neighbors or anything, but it's it just hasn't seemed the same kind of energy and love that Edgewood has.
Yeah.
So it's doesn't have that same vibrance about it.
Okay.
East Haven just built a park, but their park is all metal, and most skaters prefer to skate concrete.
What do you mean metal? You said metal?
Metal ramps.
Like metal?
Yeah, metal ramps.
Why would they do that?
It's cheaper.
Did somebody think that was a good
cost-effective.
idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but people were skating it.
Yeah, people skate. It's actually a pretty fun park, but most skaters prefer concrete.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And another benefit that we feel the park will bring is money to some of the food businesses, food truck. If New Haven is kind of branding itself as a food truck city, you want people who are going to come from out of town to those food trucks. People are going to be coming to the skate park. They're going to be hot, sweaty, hungry. You know, Fussy Coffee's right there. Ricky D's Rib Shack. The food trucks are at the Well.
Oh, you have done your work, young man.
I've reached out. Even the guy, my guy.
Oh
I
wait,
forgot
there's
his
another
name.
one. Let's not forget about it.
Oh,
That
Eric
is-
Clemens.
Seafood
that is
Shack.
Seafood
Oh, the
Shack.
Seafood
There
Shack.
we go.
Mama
Okay.
Jean at Seafood Shack. She
Mhm.
definitely looked out. She told us
Yeah.
to shout her out. We will shout out Seafood Shack.
Yeah.
Where's the Seafood Shack? Where is it?
Right on Dixwell, next to Matty Packy.
Oh.
Yeah, where you
okay.
I don't know if you remember this, but right across the street from where Unique Boutique used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a restaurant there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How new is it? New?
Within the
Within
year,
the past
right?
3 months. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Because I had noticed it. Now I
Yeah.
gotta go look now.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Is the food good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go by there and see what's up.
Got it. Shout out Mama Jean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So skateboarding is a huge industry in other places, and so
Yeah.
you all are thinking that we should get a little bit of that magic, some of that shine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, so skateboarding has during the 90s, skateboarding kind of shifted to the East Coast and kind of got like the hip hop feel. There's a very just hip hop influence how skateboarding looked, the music they listened to, the tricks they did. A lot of the guys came from the East Coast and went out to California, which is the heart of the industry. And people in California were like, oh, like these guys are aggressive. They skate fast. They don't mind, rough spots. They don't mind dealing with weird people at the spot. So it kind of shifted. It's kind of
That's so East Coast.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
been this 20-year shift.
gritty.
Yeah,
gritty,
and I think
yes.
New Haven is close to the 3 big cities on the East Coast:
Mhm.
Boston, New York, and Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is a bold step. You know what I mean? This will show people that New Haven is in touch with what its residents want, is ahead of the curve. Because when skateboarding's in the Olympics next year, everybody's gonna try and run and do something with skateboarding. We'll be able to say we were ahead of the curve. Everybody's gonna follow us,
And maybe some talent will grow.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Like some
Exactly.
talent will grow up out of this, and we'll see them in the Olympics
Exactly.
because it's going to be new. So
If we put the infrastructure in, skaters will skate and world-class skateboarders will come out of New Haven.
now
I can guarantee that.
is there a skateboard club? Like how do people sort of unify as skateboarders? Is there a club? Is there a group? Is there membership? Do you join?
So
Are you just out there on your skateboard by your damn self?
So this is one of the wonderful things, right? Because it's not a team sport.
But you get the
but-
camaraderie of a team sport.
Exactly, right? You find your friends at the skate park, and you connect with people, and the people that I met when I was 13 and like first started skateboarding are people I still talk with like just about every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like just wonderful having that like extra family outside of like my own family. They truly are like my brothers and sisters, and it's
Mhm.
amazing. Scoop included, right?
But
Which
do
has been
you-
dope.
But do people?
Uh,
Is there a National Skateboard Association
So
or a local chapter of that?
so
Do you start that?
there is a National Skateboarding Association. No, excuse me. Well, there is, but that is not the board that is overseeing the way that the leagues are integrated for the Olympics. And there's a few different leagues. There's X Games, which is the traditional league. where
I
you see
I
the
used to
big
watch
ramps,
those.
right?
Yes.
And now it has the a street division. There's Street League Skateboarding, which is strictly for street style skating, which involves like stairs and rails and ledges.
and that's the
jump-
stuff you see on the YouTube channels.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And jumping off buildings and the whole nine.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
no,
which
that's
is
a
the top-
mother's nightmare.
Which is the yes, absolutely. But part of the reason it can be really dangerous at first is because people don't have a nice contained park where they can train like at a progressive
Yes, because
level.
these people are doing stuff in public spaces where they're pedestrians.
Exactly.
And anything can happen and go wrong. Okay.
But if they have a nice space
That's dedicated for
that's
that. Where
dedicated for that.
pedestrians are not walking
exactly
across the street.
they are
And
far less
skateboarders-
likely to have an accident.
Yes.
Skateboarders are really good about, you know, if you're not here to skate, like
Move on.
move along. Except like we don't mind having you there, but it's just like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
So now is the dream and the hope to sort of see, because if you build a skateboard park, maybe schools and will want to have skateboard clubs.
Oh yes.
so we actually, it's not just gonna be a skateboard park. We're incorporating a stage into the design because we wanna like open it up to the community. We want to do like have a stage for performances. It costs the city money
To bring a stage.
To bring a stage out, you have to pay people to staff it. You have to pay for the electricity, all that stuff. So we're gonna have like a shade structure, like there is at Gulf Street Park, incorporate it into the structure. And then we want graffiti artists to come out. We want b-boys and b-girls to come out. We want DJs to come out. Incorporating all the hip hop culture that's so vital to skateboarding, and that creates this community of creates this community of misfits. To kind of like
A community of misfits.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah,
skateboarding has historically just been for people who don't quite find fulfillment in like the traditional lanes of like sports, arts, just activities. And gives them a space to kind of like find themselves and find themselves like within the community of other people who kind of felt on the outside and create their own space. Which is really good, right? Because when you don't quite fit in, it could be a real lonely road.
Yes.
And
yes,
I'm super thankful for skateboarding and the weirdos that I've grown up with.
And it also kind of teaches you how to, maybe step back and look at things differently, and also just keep trying,
And it takes a lot of courage, I think, to want to master this and stick with it. I mean, I think that's even though it's a you and your board kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that is a confidence builder that today I'm gonna work on this until I get good at it, until I can make this jump
And it's like you're trying, but that moment where you commit, but you might not land it, but you're like, oh, like I gotta do this, and you're like, you won't let yourself leave the park until you get it. And you might get it, but like, nah, I gotta get it right. Like I gotta stomp it. I don't want to wobble. Like I wanna get it perfect. And that's like the kind of pursuit of perfection within yourself that isn't coming from anyone else or any like negative sources. When it's like a natural thing that comes from within yourself, like it's good to see.
It'd be nice to see like some competition, like competitive kinds of things, like maybe. I don't know I don't know how you would set that up, but sort of like the 3-on-3 basketball or the basketball tournaments or midnight basketball or any of that kind of stuff.
King of the Road, yeah.
King of the
Road.
King of the Road is a contest thrown by Thrasher magazine. It's basically a skateboarding scavenger hunt, and they go on the road for about 2 weeks and do all kinds of crazy challenges, tricks. And I actually enjoy King of the Road more than the X Games or Street League because it kind of reminds me it's kind of more true to the spirit of skateboarding.
Just emphasizes fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like.
So do you entice them to come here? Like you're like, hey, look, we've got 2 skateboard parks now.
So yes, we could entice them to come. New Haven actually has some history in skateboarding. If you look at the intro for King of the Road, it's the exit for New Haven is on there. I don't know if they've ever stopped, but like it's there for some reason. Maybe because that's where Jim Greco is from. Shout out Jim Greco.
Definitely shout out Jim Greco.
He's a professional skateboarder, originally from New Haven.
Really?
He's based in LA now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy because when I worked at Channel 1, Lou gave me an old VHS tape of when Jim Greco was about 16 and he was working to get sponsored, and they were taking a trip out to California, and just like seeing his style then and seeing it now is just like, wow.
Yeah. Now, I want to circle back to contests and competitions because, while we could entice King of the Road, which we absolutely should try to do, there's already, a bit of an infrastructure and like a way of doing that. At Edgewood, sometimes contests happen.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, so we have some local brands that have popped up. I want to specifically shout out Acidwood Skateboards, which is a locally owned skateboard company. Robert Fulson, he makes custom handmade skateboards.
Really?
And does some print graphics as well. Lou Wax Company and Premium Clothing, they make wax that makes it easier to do slides and grinds on rails and ledges. And shout out to Skate Babz and Ange and Liv for everything they're doing, because their brand, they do clothing, they do stickers, and the brand is focused on encouraging women and girls in skateboarding.
That was my next sort of thing. How many women and girls are interested in skateboarding?
So many, and there's been an explosion in like the last 3 or 4 years. Skate Babz has been hosting different events and contests and skate clinics just to help people get comfortable on the board at Edgewood, and specifically aimed at encouraging women and girls to come out and skate. And there was like an all women all girls skate jam at Edgewood last in the summertime.
Oh, this is so cool. I had no idea of any of this.
I honestly didn't even realize how many women and girls were in skateboarding around this community, and there are so many, and they're so stylish on their board. They're like very good. Like, not that even needs to be qualified, right? But that just, I was shocked about how many people were like coming out consistently that I just hadn't seen, because I hadn't been in the park scene for a little bit, being at school. And so it's wonderful, right? We just need people of all sorts and feeling comfortable to like come and like be a part of this community.
So if you can make this happen, how long does it take to build a world-class skate park? Because that's what you're going for, right? You want something. You want something that people want to skate on. You don't want it to be half. You want it to be a full skate park, which I don't know what that would look like or mean. But
so luckily, this skate park, because it's emphasizing street style skateboarding, it doesn't require a very large footprint. It'll be about the size of a basketball court, but within that will contain like all the components for people to learn grinds and slides and flip tricks going down stair sets, because there's a stair set included. So just some there's a smaller mini ramp that's going to be in the back, so they can learn on the ramp and get a little bit more comfortable on the board if they don't have like their flat ground tricks down yet. And all of this will take about 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
And the thing that's unique about the skateboarding community, and why we're pushing that instead of something like pickleball, because skaters are gonna come out and give their time and give their labor to help build. You know what I mean? There's a huge DIY, do-it-yourself movement in skateboarding, and where people have just been taking abandoned space, bringing in concrete, sending the car. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if the city's gonna go for that.
So we're.
I mean, not the DIY, but like people will come out.
Okay.
Sorry, no, not to cut you off, but so we definitely want to integrate community build days. So figuring out not just having like people showing up and adding things to the park, but having specific days agreed upon with the city blocked out, so that the skateboarding community and also just the neighborhood broadly over at Scantlebury Park, just be like it is as much the neighborhood's park as it is either of ours or any skateboarder who's already on a board, or anybody giving money to help bring it together. So we just want everybody to be involved, like in a real way, material way on the ground.
That's a good idea. I like
everybody pitches in, like even during the winter, like people will clear the park out to skate. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
They're skating in the winter?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Big time.
It gets in your bones. You just gotta skate.
I'm getting a whole skateboard education.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at Skateboard University right now.
Like it's basically like we leave a shovel there and people just kind of gradually chip away at it.
So now, do we have to be concerned about what happens to the park after hours? Do we have to worry about unsavory uses of the park? I mean, is that a concern? Do you hear that?
So I think a big part of we heard brief concern about it, but in part ourselves and Rebecca Bombero, the director of parks, was able to speak.
You know
to
what
this.
I'm talking about, right? People sitting in the park getting high, and little kids can't go skate and that kind of thing.
So the thing is, you just kind of have to build a culture at the park that says this is a skateboarding park, and we're not here to just hang out and like nobody's just like hang out or like get high or like get drunk and just like make a ruckus at the park. And Edgewood has with the resurgence of the skateboarding community in a big way in the last like 5 years, like has really been a place where people like come to skate, and that's that, and the skateboarding community like picks up after itself, like clears stuff out, abides by the hourage that is set by the city in the park. We're very lucky at Edgewood. They stay open for quite a while. They have lights installed, so it goes into the night. But we're thinking Scandalberry is not going to be like that. But
no.
So we're gonna have to abide by those rules. But the skateboarding community here in New Haven is very respectful and picks up after itself and really maintenances its own park in big ways. As a matter of fact, Tuesdays 4 p.m. is a planting group for over at Edgewood for planting new trees and shrubberies and plants with the Urban Resources Initiative.
So y'all have taken real ownership of these skate parks.
Yeah.
Like you are like, like the purveyors of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well,
Thank
somebody
you.
has to care about it, right? Like somebody has to take the initiative to sort of say this is what's needed. And I can see this skateboard park very clearly in my mind over there. And I think young people and children growing up will have a real awareness and fondness and activity for it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a real opportunity to be outside of the box without being destructive, and being really productive and creative in like all of the ways that means.
So you're having a meeting on Thursday at the Rose Center. At what time?
6:30 p.m.
6:30. And then who's going to be there? Who's coming to this meeting?
So we'll both be there, as will Alder Morrison of Ward 22.
And how is she feeling about this Is she on your? Is she team
got it
skateboard
behind
park?
us. Yeah.
Okay.
She's been a huge help.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's behind us all the way, which is really, really wonderful. And thank you very much, Alder Morrison, for your support and just your logistic help here.
I want to shout out Alders Winter and Sepulveda too. There's not their awards,
yeah.
but Alder Winter is the alderman from my neighborhood. And I Miss Sepulveda was one of the teachers at Hill House. Or one of the staff at Hill House when I went there. And so I reached out to her, and she's been a great support for it.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, because they all have to connect, and more is better than just one. So if Alder Morrison got support from her fellow alders, then they can go and tag team the rest of the alders and get you a good vote.
Yeah. So we're also gonna bring some people in to speak to skateboarding. Hopefully, some kids from the Push to Start program, some skaters from Edgewood. To discuss, why skate parks are important and the communities that they build, and why it's important to have them in, different neighborhoods across the city to make people, make it more easily accessible. And, hopefully a couple detractors show up too, so that we can have some input and maybe consider some perspectives we hadn't before on how to go about. Because, even if we get all of our approval, there's still a whole execution process in getting it built. So, important to consider all of that, making sure we don't step on any toes when we do that.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So
what do you hope to happen out of this meeting on Thursday? Like, what's your outcome? What's your thinking around that?
So we want to go over the park again and like brief as many people as possible in the community. So we're hoping we have a big turnout. Consider some concerns, hopefully assuage some concerns, because I feel like there's a solid amount of misunderstanding and miscommunication right now that if we just had a couple more hours to talk about it, everybody would probably feel.
Just check out the comment section of the article.
Oh yeah.
No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade, but a lot of people are really loving this. And
no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta use that.
Yeah. But yeah. So talk about it, and then also there's going to be a survey for residents of Ward 22 because while we've proposed this park for Scandalberry, we want it to be there. We still have to make a decision about where in the park.
Because there's a playground, I believe, there,
which it wouldn't replace. And also, this is another important thing. The city has money earmarked for proposed renovations and improvements to Scandalberry Park that were proposed a long time ago, and any of the resources that the city is putting into our funding that we already received it's not going to encroach on the money that the city has for any of the other stuff. This is not an either or situation.
Okay.
At all.
Man, you guys have covered it. You come to the fight.
Oh yeah.
Y'all come to the fight ready and armed.
I feel like people are a little bit shocked by that. You know?
Because they're not used to it.
Yeah, and I feel like the perception of just skateboarders is kind of like, slackers, potheads, drunks, that type of thing. But like, there's some pretty smart people in skateboarding who are driving it forward.
And I think that's an important point to bring up. And I think it's an important point to bring up that is going to be in the Olympics next year. So people will see it. And this is the opportunity for New Haven to get on the forefront of this sport. Just like ice skating, just like field hockey, just like any other sport that we've embraced in this city, for young people and just for city folks to enjoy. I mean, people were bent out of shape about the damn trail, right? Before really, before the trail was done, people were upset about this trail. They couldn't envision it. They couldn't imagine it. They thought it was ridiculous. Who would want to walk from here to Cheshire? Why? And now the trail has become a crown jewel in the city.
Yeah.
All kinds of people use this thing, right? Ride their bikes, walk, kids, very little incidences of crime, and people are used to it and they welcome it. Like there are walking clubs to the trail. So I think it'll be the same kind of thing. I think what it is, people are always fearful of something that is not in their everyday practical lives, and this is a new thing. And I think you're right, Steve. The perception is this, and y'all are about to change that for people. So that's a good thing. It'd be nice to have some folks the skateboard manufacturer people to come, or the shopkeepers, and say, listen, this is what I do. This is a viable sport, and this is a real craftsman kind of thing, and that kind of thing. I think that's important.
Absolutely.
I didn't know IKEA was selling skateboards.
That
cracks me up. I don't even. Next time I'm gonna look for them now. Like I gotta go to IKEA and look.
Let's do this. So, this is kind of why I made the comparison between the skateboarding community and the African American community. There's kind of this thing like support Black-owned businesses, and we want to support skater-owned businesses,
and we definitely want to support Black skater-owned businesses. Down.
I like that.
And
Black
so
skater.
the closest place to buy a skateboard is Zoomies. Like I tell people, it hurts me to tell people this, but I'm like, if you're gonna buy a kid a skateboard, go to Zoomies in the mall because you can feel the board, you can see what you're getting, you can touch it. But if you really want to support the community, the closest skate shop is Fairfield.
Yes.
So,
or Bridgeport, Rampage.
True.
Rampage. So we got to shout out to Rampage, and then Day One that's the one.
Fairfield.
Yeah, Day One in Fairfield.
And me personally, I will take the train out to Fairfield just to support his business because
really,
yes,
that's important.
I will not shop at Zoomies at all unless I absolutely have to. I'm not gonna go to Zoomies because skate shops are kind of this is kind of what makes skate shops unique from like regular brick and mortar stores, just because they serve as like community hubs. They'll show skate videos, do things for the kids, throw contests. I've gotten, just me personally, when I didn't have money for boards, there were boards behind the counter where Woody would just be like, "Yo, take one," because he knew like I was a good kid and it would help keep me out of trouble. And we also kind of have this thing within skateboarding where if you have something old, it's kind of a hand-me-down thing. You know what I mean? So it's like if Jay broke his board and I have an old board, I'm not gonna hoard my board. Take it, Jay.
Okay.
And if
Thanks,
if I need like a pair of wheels or something, a set of wheels, take these, Steve. They're still worn down, but like they'll hold me down until I can get my own wheels. You know what I mean? I've seen guys, give
all
each other
one,
sneakers.
one for all.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
I'm feeling that.
We want to see you skate, basically.
Well, thank you, Jay Joseph.
Yeah, thank
and
you for
Steve
having
Roberts.
us.
Thank you,
I
Ms.
enjoyed
Babz.
this conversation. I'm telling you, this was Skateboard University for me today. I am behind this project. Anything that I can do to help this, I think people will hear this conversation and come away feeling like they know a little something more the same way I did. So I look forward to hearing. So the community meeting is at the Rose Center on Ashman Street. Thursday at
Mhm.
6:30.
Yes, man.
So come out if you live in that community, even if you don't live in that community and you just want to support or you have an opinion or a thought, go and hang out and listen to what they have to say. Thank y'all.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having
I
us.
so appreciate this. Okay, Harry, I'm about to play us out.
Free Max B.
I know.
He's coming home soon. You heard?
Who's coming home?
Saying Free Max B today. Free Max B, man.
Oh,
Max.
okay. All right. Well, I'm on my way out. Okay, Harry. I don't think you can hear us, but we're out.
Thank you for having
I
us.
so